start laughing automatically. My brain was just like, huh?
Well, if I look at it as if it's funny and you laugh at it, other people will find it funny.
You do realize that I am a very hot, tough cookie to crack, though.
If a highbrow person like you will laugh
Oh,
at
I'm
it,
highbrow.
lowbrow people like me will laugh at it as well.
You're terrible.
If the high culture can get it, us lowies will be safe.
You're so crazy. Oh my goodness. Highbrow, lowbrow. I have no brow. Low and brow. Oh man. I gotta mute the mic too.
Well, I didn't pick the mic yet.
Oh, alright.
That's why I left it muted just in case. I forgot to do the audio capture, so we're live.
Hey y'all.
Don't mind me.
We're just getting everything put together. Welcome to the Gen X Cynics. Happy New Year. I know it's a few days off, but we were taking a break. Axiom just started a new job, and it was exhausting.
You gotta explain yourself to them.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Somebody's coming in the new year hostile. Calm it down there.
You're older, and this year's the year of hostility.
Yeah. Axiom had a birthday just 2 days ago, actually.
Yeah.
He is getting very closer to that 40 club. Yeah, it's good.
15th, so yeah.
Yeah. And you're getting closer to that fabulous 40s that I keep telling you.
I'm getting closer to that grumpy old man stage
Yeah.
that I really want to settle into.
I have been there. That's why we named the cast Gen X Cynics, because
Used to be a grumpy old man?
no.
Okay.
I'm just at the age where I can be justifiably grumpy if I want, but the older we get, the more we see how things are changing, and that's the whole reason why I say get me out of this simulation. Even though we had some really good starts to this new year, there have been some record skip moments. TikTok has brought a lot of it, because unlike Axiom, I'm not on TikTok. I don't have an account. I just watch vicariously through you.
Yeah, I only got like 3 videos up there. That was just little things I thought was funny. And then
but I mean, you actually sometimes watch it and laugh, and it's not a knock at TikTok.
Oh, no.
I just want people to understand that this is not coming from a place. I'm just petty about having to remember logins and having so much of my name attached to stuff. Well, I just don't bother.
It is a colossal time eater. Like, you go on there to watch one video, and the next thing you know, it's 3 hours later.
It's like how I am with Wikipedia. That's why I leave Wikipedia alone, because I'll go to research one thing, and then I'm up at 4 in the morning still looking at ancient Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop it. Reference can, especially for a writer, can really pull you into some weird wormholes, and TikTok is no different. But there has been a rise of oversharing on social media, period. But on TikTok, I watched the video, and because of the weird fair use thing, we don't really repost other people's stuff. Stop telling people you don't bathe.
Yeah.
Stop telling people you are unhygienic. I don't understand this trend. It's disgusting. But I watched the video via Twitter that a friend shared of this. She looked like a normal woman. She looked like she should be hygienic. But she wanted to relate to people who find toilet paper between their legs. And I'm telling you, as a mom and as a woman, bathe. Wash yourself. Because you shouldn't be finding random scraps of toilet paper between or up in anything if you're hygienic. Some of y'all are oversharing, and makes me want to get a hazmat suit.
Yeah. Well, this is the not bathing thing, and I get that people are all like, well, we're bathing too much and we're stripping away essential oils that our body produces. It's like, yeah, okay, but we are disgusting individuals, and we don't need to have oily skin.
I don't know about you, but if you're active even a little bit, I say this as a big woman. I just started a regiment about 1.5 years ago where I'm exercising and stuff again. You build dirt and sweat and your body stuff, so I don't want to hear about stripping natural oils. Wash your behinds.
Yeah.
Like,
I shower every day.
Yeah.
Every morning, one of the first things I do, I get up, go take a shower.
And I'll even admit I'm every other day, Because A, I'm cheap and I want to save on water. B, because we wash a lot of laundry and stuff, I really want to save on power bill, so I can go every other day.
Yeah.
But I wash. And I
But
wash our laundry too. I mean, our sheets. There are people that are literally on there talking about, I only wash my sheets when I have to. You should wash your sheets more than that then.
Yeah.
Because I know how I am when I sleep. We drool, we sweat,
Yeah.
we shed skin, and you just want to keep getting in bed with that? Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd same thing as this. Like, if I could go every other day, I would, because frankly, it is kind of a hassle to get in there and wash every single day.
Yeah.
But I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
And when you're a big guy, you sweat, and when you sweat, you stink. And I cannot stand.
And then there are certain body processes that a lot of us go through, especially us women, that you really should bathe often.
Yeah.
This is not a drill or a joke. And those of you using social media to share your lack of hygiene, especially during this current situation, this plague and pestilence situation, you're not doing us any favors. I mean, I already don't want to be around fellow humans.
Yeah.
And this oversharing of not washing your hands if you're a celebrity, not bathing your kids, which was a big thing last year with a certain Ashton Kutcher and his wife, to the point where they had to start making TikToks to defend that they do bathe their kids. But once you put that out there, that you have this lax desire to be clean, it's out there.
Yeah.
And people are going to forever remember that you mocked washing properly. I'm like I said, I'm a history nerd. I've seen where we've come from with humanity with certain hygienic practices, and I see a lot of push, especially from people who should know better, to get away from that, and I don't think that's okay.
You floored me the other day with people saying they could treat COVID by drinking their pee out.
Yeah,
that is...
Wow. Like, as geeks, I'm telling you, not every geek's a nerd, and not every nerd's a geek. But to have that cosmo of being a geeky person already, and then having a nerd background of knowing history, I don't understand why we're moving back towards the Dark Ages and not bathing properly. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's funny a little bit, just because I think as the technology gets better, it seems like we're getting dumber.
Yeah.
And it's
idiocracy.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
No,
because it's like everything we do to progress forward is like having an opposite push backward on us. And I was just like, we have social media. We've become more antisocial. Mm-hmm. We have smart technology. We're turning into dumber people. And it's just like, eventually they're going to come up with something that's so amazing. I'm just going to brace for what counter strike are we going to get from that?
Exactly, because it feels like every technological advance we have, humans push back by saying, I'll show you, stupid.
Yeah. And
like, for real, lately, just we have the ability to dialogue about serious issues. And I don't want, like I said in that Bonnet short I did, well, not even Bonnet, Gen X short I'm going to call it, because it was more of a Gen X rant against the South Park creators. I don't always want to bring our chats down with serious topics, but I feel like people make mockery of serious topics. They can turn a profit off of said mockery, when we as a country still don't want to really broach it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was upset about with Matt Stone and Trey Parker teaming up with Kendrick Lamar to make a slavery comedy is our country still doesn't want to touch upon the seriousness of that. They still don't want to teach in schools about why that wasn't right. They still want to make CRT the new boogeyman, which CRT, and we're going to say this on the Geekcast, because some of you might be like, what's that term? It is critical race theory. It's something taught in certain law schools, not even all the law schools, about how to fairly spot bias and utilize past history when you make defense or civil litigation. It is a course that you have to opt into. It's not even for everybody. But somebody decided to make it the new boogeyman in our country, to not talk about any kind of civil rights history, not talk about any kind of past slavery history. And now you have these people with platforms and money, and somebody I respected, Kendrick Lamar, who created the Black Panther soundtrack. Mm-hmm. A lot of the songs that we listened to in that movie that we liked, he choreographed and put together. So to have somebody who I respect on that level, who I feel should know better, work with them on a comedy that at the root of it doesn't make sense. So you're making a comedy of a man who works in a museum as a slave to reenact that, finding out that his white girlfriend's ancestors own his ancestors, and where's the punchline?
Yeah. And I mean, Family Guy did that first.
Mm-hmm. You pointed that out, and I was like,
it wasn't funny when Family Guy did it.
At all.
It was a chuckle, but it wasn't nothing.
Not for me, which, as you joked earlier before we went on air, I'm a bit highbrow, I guess.
No, it's...
You know, I'm a bit highbrow with that. Because there are certain things people laugh at, and I'm stone-faced.
I think that I have proven in any past broadcasts that we've done together that you are most likely smarter than me.
It's not...
in the regard of book smarts, and if the end of the world happened and one of us were removed from the situation, you would flourish, I would starve to
Oh,
death.
stop.
So that is all I meant by, trying to,
I am a bit sedity. I'm not gonna fake the front. It's because of how I was raised as a child, and I carry a lot of that with me. So a lot of times we'll sit and watch a comedy, and I might laugh at certain things, and then I'm just stone faced about other things that you're laughing at. And it's not that I don't think they're not funny; they just don't tickle me the same way.
Yeah, and that's that's fine. It's like everybody's got different stuff that they can laugh at and everything like that. So.
And I'm not above a fart joke. I want to make that clear. Farts are funny to me. I will laugh at that. But there are certain things that just don't land the way they do for you as they do for me, and vice versa.
Yeah, but I mean that's neither here nor there.
But
Both of us, when we heard about this, were like, "That's not funny
At all. Who is this for?
That's not going to be a funny comedy. That is legitimately 5 minutes of Family Guy, like." The fact that the South Park people did it, I just wanted to look at them and go, Simpsons did it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't Simpsons, it was Family Guy.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't funny then, it's not going to be funny now. It's going to be a crap movie. But nothing's going to stop because they're going to get indignant and be like, well, we're going to make this movie. And it's like...
It's to have the conversation. And when you're having the conversation, putting it as a comedy... And I know I'm tired of serious drama about slavery. I am honestly tired of black pain being profitable, to be real about that situation. Because nobody really wants to understand the horrors of that history. They just want to make light of it because it makes it easier for certain people to accept the realities that this was our country. And I am kind of tired of giving the spoonful of sugar method to this.
Well, I mean, even with the last year, we've had... I hate to say that we as a species are dumb and stupid.
But
we are dumb and stupid. We literally have a pandemic that is still currently ongoing. We had doctors and scientists that come out and say, do these things. They will help keep you safe. It may not prevent you from getting sick, but it'll definitely help you from spreading a situation worse. Salmon Isle, thank you for the lurk.
Hey, Salmon, thank you.
Did I do a shout out for Salmon yet?
No, we gotta create one, and we will be creating special shout outs for all of our friends, definitely.
Salmon, you need to private message me with something that you would like referenced in a shout out so I can make you a custom shout out.
Yes.
But we literally had things that said, do this, don't do that, you'll be fine. And people rallied against it. People actively rallied and tried to talk other people out of it. Like, we're not just lemmings running toward the edge of the cliff, we're lemmings grabbing people as we run off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And you have tons of scientific evidence to prove that, and the only argument against it, well, that just doesn't feel right to me.
And it just feels like entertainment is feeding into the rampant ignorance too, because look at all the reboots. Look at how many of them are trying to recapture stuff from our youth instead of creating new.
Instead of doing the one thing we want rebooted.
Exactly.
Which is reboot.
Exactly. We've been waiting for reboot to be rebooted for a while. I've been waiting for them to finish Dot and their story and nothing.
I was promised comics that would wrap up the story. I was promised animated shorts that would wrap the story. We got a Netflix series that brought them in toward the very end of it,
Yeah,
and it didn't address anything that happened.
at all. And
And
I
it's
don't
just
think
like,
it's right.
what's going on? I was like, how does this tie into what happened at the end of the series? No, I want a direct pick up right from where you left off, reboot.
Exactly.
People are
But
stupid. That's
we
why I
are
love
getting
it.
a Fresh Prince reboot that's a drama.
Yeah.
And it's like the Fresh Prince was a comedy. The reason why we loved it was because it was a comedy.
Yeah, comedy. It touched on serious things, but by and large, it was just a comedy to show how this family functions.
Yeah. But now we're getting a reboot of that. And then Sex of the City. And like I said, at the risk of sounding ageist at all. Like, it reminds me too hard of a more serious Golden Girls at this point.
Yeah.
And I would rather just watch, especially,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Betty White,
Yeah.
the Golden Girls. I don't need to see Sarah Jessica Parker and these other older ladies trying to tell us that they're still fetch. It's kind of like how I feel with Madonna. Nobody should question whether Madonna's a superstar. I've known her for over 40 years. I believe that she's a superstar. But now she has to literally show her butt to make her, to keep her name relevant. And it's like, who are you doing this for?
Yes, and the thing is, like, Madonna, you're done. You're not done. I mean, you are good. When people say Madonna, they know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is not a thing of
You have to keep making yourself
you have to keep
relevant.
making yourself relevant. You can say Madonna anywhere. Everybody knows who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're still relevant. You don't need to do weird stuff like this.
Yeah, these overly sexual antics. And I feel like there are people that are like, well, you can't press against that. You know, these women should be able to express their sexual agency. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
But it turns a lot of people off. It feels like they drive that home that that's all women are good for. You know, and I'm sorry. I get really tired of being lost in the whole women's empowerment based on our sexuality movement. I want women to feel confident and comfortable where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman, I'm confident and comfortable in saying that's not it for
She
me.
does that, Solomon. You need to watch out for that because pretty soon you're just going to be reading your mind. You're going to start hearing her voice in the back of your head.
I just feel like they really push hard that the only
And
way
she
for
likes to put catchy songs in there that don't
books.
leave.
But I feel like a lot of people really do push women's empowerment through our sexuality, and it's starting to get tiring because there are some of us that feel like we can be empowered without our vaginas being the focus.
Yeah.
We can be empowered without our boobs being the focus. We can be empowered by our brains. And there are not enough shows that really push that without us being like a stereotype. Like, I love the way, and I'm not a huge Big Bang Theory fan anymore. You know, towards the end, they just push that narrative that if a man presses hard enough, he'll get the girl of his dreams. And that's not always the reality of nerd life. We have crushes that never fulfill itself. But I do like how these women were smart.
Yeah.
How they showed their insecurities with navigate in a society that has told you that if you're smart, men ain't gonna like that.
I did like how Amy got Sheldon though. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start doing what was it? It was positive reinforcement. So
Yeah.
when I come around, I'm gonna do something that you like, so that you'll attribute being around me with being happy. And I was actually working on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love that part though.
And I think that empowerment needs to be more encompassing. It doesn't always have to be, I'm empowered, I can have sex with whoever I want. It could be, I'm empowered, that's not really for me, but I you know, I'm not knocking you, but this is my archetype.
Yeah.
And there's not enough just simple people archetypes in entertainment anymore. Everything's got to be controversial. Everything's got to be in your face. And a lot of people's pain are being used as a punchline, and it's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like entertainment really needs to do less rebooting of shows and more hiring newer, diverse writers that can realistically write the diverse people out there.
There are people out there.
Yeah.
English teacher rolling in their graves right now. There are people out there that have unique ideas.
Yeah.
There are people out there that have a story that has just not been written yet, have not been televised yet, and it's a good story. but you got to convince people that have taken the viewpoint of, well, if it's different, it might work, it might not, but let's stick with what's the same.
Yeah.
It's like, no, try something new.
And then you've got these people trying to capitalize on reunions and shows that, yeah, back in the 90s, I mean, we just got finished watching Seinfeld, as we said 3 weeks ago in our last cap. And there were funny moments, but there were a lot of moments like...
There are a lot of jokes that don't hold up.
Yeah, at all. And there was a lot of belief systems that I'm sure Jerry Seinfeld now regrets, holding, that he's older and the world has changed. But even like certain topics about, I can't say the word because YouTube doesn't like it, ending your life was made light of. Matter of fact, he made a blatant joke about how you shouldn't give up if that's your mindset. And my brain said, oh no.
Yeah.
That's, as somebody with mental health issues, no, that's not okay.
And that's the thing. It's like, that is one of those jokes, and that is the by far the worst one, I think, honestly, is... I understand the joke he was trying to make, but that's not a topic that needs to have a joke done about it. And I get using humor as like a defense mechanism. I do it all the time. It drives her nuts. But that is something that, like, if somebody comes up with that, that's not something you want to do a joke about. You want to actually take that serious and try to help that person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the time, he was probably like, and there's a lot of jokes like that. At the time that they did the joke flew. You could actually do it. But now, no, you can't, and that's fine. I don't think he's ever actually gone back and expanded on that joke or done that joke again.
Exactly.
And he probably realizes that that wasn't a good joke to do at the time.
But I fear with the era of reboots that they're going to bring those 4 back.
Yeah. And
they're going to have to go edgier than ever to be relevant, and I honestly don't want to see that. And I can see where they can capitalize on something we love. We just watched Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, and we're going to try very hard because it's still technically in theaters, so not everyone has seen it.
Not to give heavy spoilers.
So we're going to be kind of vague. There may be some spoilers, but it won't be any crucial plot points.
No. But I want to say that I really loved the movie. I loved how they tied together the past with the potential future. There was a lot of stuff that if you watched it and you loved the past movies or any of the Ghostbusters lores, that's going to give you pause and probably make you mad.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a geek warning. There's a heavy storyline that makes me upset because it doesn't make sense for a certain main person's character to me.
Right, and it was never addressed
properly at all.
In any of the past mythos and anything that I've seen, and even playing like I've done on my stream, the video game. Nowhere in there was this topic ever broached or picked up on or anything like that. And like I said, it's part of the story. It's part of the main.
It's the whole plot of this new movie.
That's the word I was trying to think. It's part of the main plot, and it just doesn't fit. Now, the one spoiler I will give you that I was disappointed with: no Slimer.
Yeah.
No Slimer at all.
But I will say that for child actors especially, because you know how I feel about children in movies most of the time. They give me a headache because it's really hard. They don't play believable characters. They got really believable child actors.
Really nice, believable.
Kudos to the actors.
Everybody, the direction of the movie, everything that was in there. And the cool part is they brought in a part to explain for the movie. It's like, hey, look at this. This kind of answers a question you didn't think about. And I never thought about where in the first movie did they get the material for all that stuff. And the fact that they thought, hey, why don't we go with where they got the material from for...
it was a perfect nerd tie-in for us. And another thing is, it spanned so many generations. Mindsets. I got dinged on Twitter about the mom being a Gen Xer, and it's like, so we earned the right to have messed up lives, man. I don't know about you, but some of us Gen Xers didn't have their best parenting, and it shows. We're going by the skin of our teeth. We had to basically raise ourselves. So if we're a bit of screw ups, there's a reason for that. And I felt like that mom in Ghostbusters is a proper Gen Xer who really didn't have strong parents in her life.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of us. That's a reality for a lot of us.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
overall, we definitely, they asked for the rating after the movie. We were watching it on Vudu. Gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, and I am so glad that we got to stream it at home because, like I said, some people want to just get back to normal. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on certain. I want to see Spider-Man so bad.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah, we really want to watch Spider-Man, but it's like it's not worth the movie ticket.
It really is. I honestly speaking, and I know a lot of people love to overshare health things, but Axiom can attest. I've been in the hospital for my blood issues.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford to risk any variant of COVID right now. I am autoimmune compromised, so if we can't stream it at home, we don't get to see it. And the reality of our situation, it sucks. I feel like I'm holding us back from fun, and
no, because
really,
it's when you. I get that there are certain things you have to do. You have to be able to go out if you have a job that deals with the public. You have to do that. Unfortunately, movies is not something that has to be done. Yeah, do I like movies? Do I want the movie industry to crash? No, absolutely. I want them to figure out a better way for us to safely enjoy this stuff. And
if we had to pay more to watch it at home, we would. Yeah. I don't understand why they're not giving us that option right now.
I don't understand why it's not, hey, it's going to cost you twice as much as a movie ticket to watch it from home. But half of those proceeds go to your local theaters, and they just divvy it up in the area to the local theaters so that they can keep their stuff going.
Yeah.
But I also don't understand why theaters they've had 3 years now that we're in this. They've had 3 years to come up with a better, safer way for us to view movies. And to be fair, I haven't heard anybody going, "Oh, I went to the movies and I caught COVID." But
a lot of my friends have caught them. They'll even being safe, even getting their boosters.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth the risk.
Yeah, and it's like you got to figure that into all your plans. It's like, hey, if I'm going to go out and hang out with these friends, I have to factor in, is it worth the cost of potentially picking up COVID?
Exactly.
And that answer is always no for me.
And I need to make this clear because I want to get back to like lighthearted and talking about shows and stuff we watch. There is no benign form of this. Whether you survive it or not, you are going to feel the effects. Every single one of our friends who have survived this still has after effects. We still don't know the long-term damage to your internals from this. And some of us can't roll the dice with this. We can't play, well, what if I survive?
Yeah.
So, seriously speaking, I don't understand why the entertainment industry is making it harder and pushing the, we got to get you back to the theater leans with these movies.
And seriously, we do miss the theater. We miss going in, getting big bowls of popcorn, sitting down and watching a movie. But it's like, for us, it's not worth the risk of that.
It isn't. And we've watched, since last year, we've watched several really good movies from the big screen of our home.
Yeah,
and it's comfortable.
Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad?
What was that? No, that wasn't on HBO Max that we actually rented.
Yeah, it was HBO Max. HBO Max is the reason we got to watch
Suicide Squad on HBO Max. We watched Matrix on Suicide Max.
Yeah.
Oh, dyslexia, you cruel, harsh mistress.
And for Voodoo, we watched The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, Free Guy,
the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I was like, these movies were not cheap. They were about, at least the ones on Voodoo weren't cheap. They were about $20 a pop. But you know what? I'd rather spend the $20, know I'm safe. We can
especially
popcorn
when, for the three of us, because we take kiddo a lot of times, to go to the movies, I watched how much you shelled out sometimes. It's like, he must love me. Because that's a lot of money to go to the movies.
Going to the movies pre-pandemic was expensive. I can't imagine what it costs now.
I know. It is just... And like I said, I don't want to deprive the movie theaters of revenue. I understand that in this time, saving businesses is just as important as our entertainment. Mm-hmm. But not risking our health is more important to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like somebody in these industries could come up with a medium that works. That both helps the movie theaters and helps those of us who enjoy this entertainment be able to watch it safely, and nobody wants to do that.
No, it's like, let's see, just wait and see if we can outlast this pandemic, and it's like, yeah, you can do that, but it's not going to end well.
What's the cost? And it's just not just the monetary cost. There are going to be movie theaters that shut down permanently from this because they're not making the revenue, and there are going to be people getting sick because they risk going to these movies to see stuff that they could probably easily stream from their home if you made it easier accessible. And these streaming sites are not that expensive.
No.
Like HBO Max is way better than even Netflix to me right now.
Yeah, honestly, there is a lot more content that we actually enjoy watching on there, and I believe it's actually about $2 to $3 cheaper than Netflix is.
Especially with their new prices coming out. I was just going to talk to you about that earlier too. Somebody tweeted out they're raising the price for all of that stuff, and it's like, I love Netflix, don't get me wrong. They have gotten me binge watching into the wee morning hours, their documentaries and stuff. Sometimes we'll rewatch old shows on it, but I'm starting to feel less value for some of the stuff they have.
Well, a lot of the stuff they have is just, I have no interest in watching.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll go a month without logging into it.
Exactly, because it's like, who asked for this?
Yeah.
Who asked for Tiger King 2? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. I was trying to forget one.
I'm sure somebody asked for it. Not
y'all are weird for
not
wanting
anybody
that.
Else. I still haven't watched the first Tiger King, and I'm sorry.
Guard your mentality.
If you want to watch the second one,
I don't. I
sleep
like.
in my car.
I want to put the first season of that into the vault and not think about it. But we can't. We can't have nice things. Speaking of not having nice things, Twitter drama, YouTube drama. All of that has been a big start of 2022, and can we stop it now? I know that it's fun to argue with each other, and social media is going to social media, but some of y'all have been taking it too far, and YouTube has been a real hot mess. Commentators have been going off on a certain drama that I said I wasn't going to commentate on personally anymore, but I think we had some interesting points to make about that, and honestly speaking, I feel like a lot of people are weighing in to give their intake on it, not understanding what it's like to be a manipulative person with a master manipulator. Mm-hmm. This creepshow art lady literally took the life of Emily Artful, carbon copied it, and you can't convince me anymore. The data lines up, and we watched commentary guy Sprocker last night, who I was really impressed by how he broke it down, because he really does make it seem like Creepshow Art had legal help with that awful 2.5 hour video. But I'm going to tell you the fallacies that I felt with his commentary. He was making it seem like in a court of law, Creepshow Art's lawyers could have won for her based on that heavy amount of evidence she had. And for me, all Emily's lawyers would have to do is say, okay, our client might have gotten the hair thing a bit confused, but here is the deal. She set her channel up in 2014. This Creepshow Art came after her and started saying, oh, how our stuff is similar. You know, how our channels might be considered copying each other. She was sending sock accounts to point blank try to start beef between them. All the locale, which is a shit-talking forums, for those of you who don't know what locale is, I've been on shit-talking forums for games, so I know they exist. Nobody's innocent from thinking they can get away with stuff like that. Proved the timeline of her not only carbon copying Emily's style and art form, but trying to get Emily to attack her and fight back and forth. There's a lot of drama there. And we were watching another young creator who I feel like she understands the mentality of somebody who can be manipulated by somebody else, but is also a manipulator, so I'm going to watch more of it before I give them props too. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand that even if Shannon was initially manipulated by Anthony, she has gone full bore on attacking Emily's character, making Emily to be her enemy, deflecting any accountability for the actions she had. She is a classic narcissist. And even if she got a polished attorney out there in California that could help spin this narrative that Emily's a liar and Emily, you can't take her word for gospel truth, or that even some other people from her Sugar Fruit anime video might have been part of the harassment, just because other people were harassing Emily at the time does not mean Anthony and Creepshow didn't do it too. You see, if you want to play those kind of games, make sure you know that Emily didn't hire people who can analyze and piece together the timeline just as well. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just somebody who's constantly analyzing and in my head. And I was able to piece together the timeline of when Shannon started to adopt her Creepshow persona, why she potentially did it, and how she was trying to stir shit with Emily that whole entire time. And then once again, in a 2.5 hour video, you're pulling stuff that you literally should not have. Deleted things you should not have, videos and pictures of Emily that you really shouldn't have, that just prove that you were stalking her.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, as much as I give credit to Proctor for playing devil's advocate, it's not easy because the court of public opinion is heavily against Shannon and Anthony right now. So having somebody really break it down on how they could potentially win is refreshing, because I don't know anybody who's been on the side of these two creepies.
Right.
But I want to make it clear that it's not as cut and dry as attacking Emily's character and, you know, things she said that might be misconstrued as a win for Shannon. There's no winning in this, because she literally has shown the level and depth of both her and Anthony's obsession with Emily Artful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary to me. And YouTube, honestly, is a scary place. That's why for the longest time, I had my account since 2011. I used to just lurk.
Yeah.
This place is just a weird, scary place. Welcome to the chat, Zai.
Hey, Zai.
You know, I think a lot of the, like, cooler, well-known content creators can be okay. We are big fans of Moist Critical. Sometimes you'll see us in his chat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's funny. Charlie has a way about him. He sometimes says some of the most off-the-wall things. I think one of the things we just watched the other night, he was like, I almost grew a third dick. And we were like, second dick, or something. It just made me laugh the way he delivers.
He has a way of deadpan delivering the most outrageous statement.
And it makes you laugh.
And it's just hilarious how he delivers it.
And then you have the opposite side of the spectrum, the most predatory YouTubers, the people who will tell you, I'm a nice person, I'm an empath, and then go out of their way to do horrible things and then deflect from it, or give a non-apology apology and then continue that behavior. And what I've seen from both Emily and both Shannon were two textbook cases of people with problems. One handled it properly and is working on it, Emily, and one decided to just deflect all accountability and act like I've done nothing wrong, I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
How dare my friends tell me, don't defend me, even though I'm literally in DMs telling them don't defend me.
Yeah.
She is a classic narcissist, and there is a serious disorder. I'm a child of somebody who has NPD. It is not easy. You end up the bad guy in their story a lot. Mm-hmm. They will tell you all the time that they love you if they can get something out of it. But they will also tell you that you're the reason for all their problems. It is it's harmful. It's confusing. It can mess you up because you don't trust when people are kind to you because of it. Because you're always waiting for that meanness or that hurtfulness to come back. Mm-hmm. And heaven forbid, once you become their enemy, there's no getting away from that. So I say this to people who still want to support Creepshow, if there are really any of you out there. You're not doing her any favors by supporting this current victimhood. She needs help. Mm-hmm. That is the whole takeaway you should take from this demented saga. She needs help. Anthony definitely needs help, and maybe a stint in jail as far as I'm concerned. And there's just no good coming out of this. And a lot of people are waiting for Emily's response video because she wants to make one on this. And I just feel like, I feel bad for her because she's got to put a lot of herself out there. And she has. And I think she handled the initial thing 6 months ago well. Because she didn't try to come across as a victim like Shannon did. She said, I was an awful person with drugs and without drugs. I went through a phase where I wanted to be liked by certain people, and that's not me. And she realizes she can't repair the damage of her past, like a lot of us who have done stupid things in our past realize. We can't make it good for those who remember, and will keep bringing that up about us. We can only strive to be better and, you know, welcome in people who know us now. Mm-hmm. And that's what Emily's doing. And I'm glad she took the fire out of Shannon and Anthony's fight against her. I'm glad she stopped letting them blackmail her with their manipulated tactics. But I feel sorry that her life like this has to be out there.
Yeah.
Because for an introvert, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean that's basically have a moment in your life where you're feeling down and you're just not feeling like you're the best person that you can be, and then have somebody obsess, stockpile, and then air that out to everybody whenever they feel like, oh, I'm slighted because this person didn't acknowledge my existence.
Yeah, or I'm slighted because this person was loved by somebody that I'm super ultra obsessed over, which I feel is this whole situation. But to bring up stuff like Emily having a very obsessive crush on a teacher, I don't know a kid alive that didn't have at least one or two teachers that they had a crush on. In high school, I had a crush on my history teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He really opened my eyes to loving history as well. And I feel like it's natural for kids who are hormonal to feel a certain way. And if you're, I drew doodles of him.
Yeah.
So it was a gut punch having Shannon mock Emily for that, because it was like, that was a lot of us.
Yeah.
And like, I lurked the art community because I like to draw. That's one of the things. Some of my friends have my sketches. I don't do it online because I don't like my art. I'm weird about it. I don't like the way I draw.
Every artist.
I hate the way I draw. I do it for fun. I don't do it for profit. But I loved watching these story time artists, because a lot of times they share things, sometimes a bit too oversharing, but they share things that's like, wow, I'm not alone in this. Or wow, I went through it too, and I like the artwork. And it's just demoralizing now, knowing how many of them were frauds and phonies, how many of them are just pushing into drama, how many of them just weren't who they said they were. And Shannon was the biggest one with that. I always felt a bit off. That's why I never subscribed to her. I never really followed her, because something just felt weird. And when you put it together that she literally copied Emily to say, there, I can be a better you, that's where you really have to have that pause. She really put that mask on hard. And when it started to slip, instead of saying, you know what, I'm just going to own being me, which probably sadly would have won her more fans, she's still acting like she didn't do anything wrong at all.
I think the problem, honestly, now is I don't think she knows who she is anymore.
Probably not.
I think she delved so deep into that cup of
I gotta be Anthony's
stalkerishness that she doesn't even know when the person that she became now ends and the person that she was when she started this is.
Yeah. And it's really sad,
and
y'all.
It's saddening to see that kind of, level of psychoses happen. But it's like, get help.
Yeah.
I mean,
seriously, there is help for it. I know for people with NPD, it's a bit harder because they really don't see anything they do is wrong. They really think they're the smartest people in the room, and they play emotional manipulation games all the time. They'll say, oh no, I'm a dumbass, I'm a piece of crap, and they'll self-depreciate to try to make themselves seem more relatable, all the while thinking that they really are the smartest people in the room. I'm telling you, as somebody who lived with a narcissist and the pain of that, they really try to play like mental 3D chess with everybody. So even her getting help, her therapist or psychotherapist is going to have a lot of work on their hands, because she doesn't even want to admit that there's a problem at all right now.
Yeah.
And there really is a problem. That 2.5-hour video was an unpacking of a lot of your internal damage, Shannon. And I don't think a lot of people are addressing it in that way. I felt like that whole attack on Emily was her just saying, this is my enemy. I'm going to make you all see that she's the enemy. And I want you to hate her as much as I hate her. And that level of toxic obsession is scary.
Yeah.
And I say this as somebody who has had these issues myself, when I don't like somebody. And I had to work through that, and I'm still working through that, to distance myself, to not make it a big deal and a blowout. And on social media especially, it's hard. You get these mob sections of people, oh, these people are beefing, I can get my popcorn, I can instigate. And it's been like that since grade school for a lot of us. And you've got to stop giving in to the instigators. That does you no good. The bigger your platform, the more you're going to have people that really want you fighting others and that are looking for your fall. That really is a reality.
Yeah, it's basically high school all over
it
again.
is.
And it's just, you got to rise above that.
You really do.
I mean, if she wanted to get one over on Emily, she could have just done what she was doing better and leave it alone.
Yeah. But she couldn't let go of that obsession. And I think a lot of it was her own, but a big chunk of it was that quiet husband of hers.
Yeah.
And I say this as somebody who dated a very manipulative person. Once they have that stuff on you that you're willing to do that, they trap you with that too. And that might very well be Shannon's situation where she's with somebody that's like, well, you did all these nasty things. You have to deal with me now.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. All we can do is speculate. All I say is that this is a bad situation. And it brings down YouTube, honestly. This should be a fun place. This is a medium where people from all over the world can create content, share opinions and views, and even here on Twitch as well. I feel like people like that really make it feel like being a YouTuber, or even saying you're a YouTuber, I'm not ready to do that yet. So.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you're a YouTuber like that Creepshow Art Girl? No, not at all.
Well, there's just a lot of it's drama central.
Yeah, really. It really is. One of my best videos right now, and I'm going to complain a little bit about this, y'all, is me weighing in on the hopefully end of this saga. And it's like, I get why commentary drives people in, because this whole thing pulled me in. Mm-hmm. But I honestly feel like there are good commentators out there, and there are people just exploiting this situation. And I want you to know that real lives are affected by this. Emily and her family's lives are affected by this. So I just wanted to be mindful of the situation and keep the focus where it belongs, on Shannon and Anthony. Because honestly speaking, after that comeback, which she says wasn't really a comeback, she's just exposed how deeply disturbed both of them are. Mm-hmm. And how much help they both need. You know? But on to some fun, because that was a very heavy lean, you know. Things we are looking forward to. We've seen a lot of good movie trailers. Like, I watched the Multitude of Madness trailer and the Batman, is it called? They're calling it the Batman?
I don't know if it's the Batman, or I think it is the Batman. I'm still looking forward to seeing it.
I'm saying this as somebody who normally pans Robert Pattinson. Just like I panned Heath Ledger and I ate crow, because he is the best Joker for me so far. I feel like I'm going to give Robert Pattinson a chance. I don't want to think about his Twilight days, because unlike some women, I just do not dig sparkly vampires. I was never into that. I just don't. That's a phase of people's lives that you do you.
Yeah.
But I do like what I've seen of the clips of him as both Bruce and Batman, which is very rare right now, because in even the newer movies, it's very rare for me to like somebody who plays Batman good and then plays Bruce good, or as Val Kilmer did very good as Bruce, but what the heck was that voice when he was Batman?
But it's not as bad as Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah, Christian.
That first one was perfect. I don't know why he changed it.
I don't either.
You know,
him and Homeboy both had to do that. Well, maybe if I change my voice, it's like, they're not going to know it's you. You're literally Cal.
Yeah.
Stop it. What are you doing? What? Okay. And then having Michael Keaton potentially step back into the role for stuff makes me happy too, because for me, he was one of the actors that got both Batman and Bruce well.
Really, really wanted to see a Michael Keaton, Christopher Reeve, and I'm blanking on her name.
Gal Gadot?
No.
Oh, Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, yeah. I really wanted to see like a Kingdom Come movie with those guys in it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately.
That's
and we talked about that on Twitter too, how cool it was to have a Superman for every generation.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, our parents grew up with George Reeve. And I remember watching those black and white Superman TV show things with Percy White and all that. It was fun. Great Caesar's Ghost. Right. And then for us, Gen Xers, we had Christopher Reeves.
Yeah. That
grin at the camera. Always felt like Superman was looking right at us.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That was the best part of those movies, is when he kind of smiles, because, like, yeah, I knew you were there.
Yep. I love that. And, you know, having him be such an icon to where he was brought into Smallville. And I want to give a shout out to those who were in the thread and was like, you forgot about Homeboy from Smallville, but as you pointed out,
technically, he was not Superman. He was Clark dealing with his powers.
Yeah.
Technically, what was it, Tom Welling?
Yeah, Tom Welling.
Technically, Tom Welling never actually got to appear in the suit. Now, at the end, they do show him kind of ripping open his shirt, and the S symbol is there, but as you can clearly tell from the footage, he is not in the actual Superman suit. They CG'd that on. I think the most they did is they put him in like a blue jumpsuit or something for it.
Yeah.
But he never actually donned the actual Superman outfit and said, hey, I'm Superman. It was always Clark dealing with his powers and how they're developing and him trying to keep it hush-hush that he has those abilities.
Yeah.
So technically,
yeah,
in the strictest sense of the word, Tom Welling does not count.
Because my thing was, physical in the suit Superman, each generation has them, and Kiddo's generation has two to pick from with Henry Cavill, and I'm blanking on Homeboy's name for the new series. I think his name is Tom, though.
I can't remember what the.
I can't remember.
I can't remember the. I don't. We haven't actually watched the Superman and Lois. I think it is.
Yeah.
Or it's not Lois and Clark because that had the.
It's Superman and Lois.
Superman and Lois. We haven't watched that yet, so I have no idea what the guy's name is.
Yeah.
I've seen him play Superman,
and I've seen clips from it, and it's really good.
Like, he does a very good job. I've seen him in a couple of things like Arrow when they did the crossovers.
Yeah.
In a couple episodes of Supergirl and stuff. He does a very good Superman.
He does.
I just don't know how well that's going to translate because, like I said, you see 5 minutes of him and it's like, it's not your show, so you're not the main character.
But I like that they're getting Superman back to that everyday kind of campy, nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are just way too many people that want to bring DC to a darker edge, ignoring that DC already has the darkest superhero in Batman, and they keep trying to crisscross Superman into that. And the thing about Superman for a lot of us was he's a breath of fresh air. When everybody's dark and edgy, he's just good. He could be the baddest of the badass,
that's the
but
thing.
he doesn't want to be.
And that's the thing with Superman. Superman is that campy, hey, you know, like
I was raised in Smallville.
Yeah, he's that campy little, hey, you know, don't let this put you off air travel. It is statistically still the safest way to fly.
It's why we love Captain America to bring the Marvel movies into it. The thing I loved about Cap was him telling people things like language.
Yeah.
Because he's a good guy, and sometimes we just want to see those good guys, those guys that are just dorkily good. Yeah. It makes it tickles you.
Is it fun to think of what if this hero went bad? But that's why we have what ifs. That's why we have movies that are like, hey, this is an alternate timeline.
That's why we have stuff like Invincible that shows you the reality of those.
You don't want to bring that. You don't want to tear down. And I know some people do. Some people love seeing the superhero get tore down until he's like, oh, I see, he's just like us. And that's the thing. Superman is just like everybody else. It would be very easy for him to just say, you know what, I'm going to just do what I want to do, and everyone else is just going to have to do it, or adjust to it.
Yeah.
He doesn't, though, because he's conscious of, I don't have the right to force my thoughts, my belief system on everybody else. Everybody else still has the choice.
And to me, that makes him one of the best superheroes, because he literally could totally dominate the earth with his powers.
In a matter of a couple of minutes, he could go through and destroy every single way we have to combat him. And I was like, well, what about kryptonite? I was like, he doesn't have to be near Earth. He could go into high orbit and laser vision the kryptonite crystals if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he very easily, if he decided to put his whole being into, you know what, I'm just going to do this and be a jerk, he could do that, but he doesn't.
And Superman, for me,
give him all kinds of slack for that.
Yeah. I feel like he is what, especially in these last few years, is needed to remind people that power doesn't make a great person. It's how they carry themselves. And Superman's always carried themselves as, yeah, I'm powerful, but I can be humble. Yeah. I'm powerful, but I can think beyond me. I don't help people because I get a praise for it. Yeah. I help people because I can.
Well, it's just like Spider-Man is one of my favorite heroes
Yeah.
growing up. That was the one that I always wanted to have
I
the powers
felt like
with and
he was
everything.
more realistic in his powers too. You give a teenager powers,
Yeah.
they're not always going to be good at it. They're learning.
Yeah.
And I felt like his journey was great to grow up reading, because it was like, yeah, I would have gotten into these
Well, yeah,
situations.
and as much
too.
as I didn't like the whole like death of Peter Parker thing that they did, where they didn't really kill him, they just had Doc Ock swap bodies with him.
Yeah,
which was, honestly, I get the
Weird.
that's a good idea, but that's not how you kill Spider-Man. That's not how you take that character out. There's better ways to do that. But what I liked in one of the later issues was when Doc Ock was actually fighting Scorpion. He punched him and he knocked his jaw, like he knocked it right off, I think. And then Ock realized that all this time while people were fighting him, he was pulling his punches. He was not fighting as hard as he could have fought. And I was like, you realize how much of a cold thing of realization that must have given him, to realize that every time he was fighting Spider-Man, Spider-Man was holding back because he really didn't want to hurt him. He just wanted to stop him.
Exactly. Because Peter had the consciousness of the responsibilities of his powers.
Yeah.
And I love it when writers get that. And it's getting tiring seeing so many writers try to make characters that would know better not know better because it's edgy. We have enough edgy characters. One of my favorite characters is Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because you can't get any more edgier than Deadpool. I'm sorry. No way.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care. He'll hero one day, villain the next, maybe in the same few seconds.
Yep.
He's fun to watch because that's the level he was created to be.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take somebody whose level is, this is my moral center, I am good because this makes me feel good, I am good because that's who I am, and then go, oh no, let's make him bad because,
Yeah.
let's see how
Just to
it
sell
be.
movie tickets.
Yeah, I'm just not into that.
Yeah.
You
And like I
know?
said, the Injustice storyline, it's a very good storyline. It's a very makes you think storyline. Like, what if that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want that being the main series. I don't want Superman being dark and edgy. I want Superman to be Superman.
Yeah, and like I said, there are stories and comic book heroes that do that way better than messing with Superman, and I'm going to bring up Invincible again.
Yeah.
As much as I like to ding Kirkman about a lot of things, honestly speaking, Invincible really had us from the first episode to the end of this current season, because you wanted to see more, and the visceralness of it was like, wow. I really feel like I know it's fiction, but this could happen with people with powers.
Yeah.
Seeing the destruction and the realities of the carnage of the situation was a bit of a breath of fresh air too, because I know that's a lot of things they ding Marvel movies on, and I'm here to say that while it's a fair criticism, you have to understand that unlike Invincible, Marvel movies are meant for general audience. They know people are going to bring their kids to these movies, so maybe not having gore, Mr. Movie Reviewer, put in a movie that a potential 8 or 9-year-old is gonna see.
Yeah.
I know, reality speaking, movies like Deadpool probably could have used more gore, because honestly speaking, as somebody who collects Deadpool comics, it really is tame, and I don't think the MCU is going to do it any more favors.
Right.
But honestly speaking, because he's so mainstream now, children will be going to those movies. And I want less parents going, oh, think of the children, and messing up movies for all of us by crisscrossing that. We can have both mediums, but we have to be mindful that minors might consume these mediums, and we don't want to mess it up for all of us by having them to crisscross unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like there are too many people whining that Marvel movies aren't gory enough, and they can't be. They're mainstream. Mainstream movies aren't going to be those gore fests unless they're for adults only. And these movies aren't for adults. I think a lot of geeks get into their fields about that, and y'all need to let that argument go. Marvel is not going to become super nasty gritty to show the realities of the situation. I said it, one of the things I dinged the original Avengers movie was that attack on New York didn't feel realistic to me. I'm from New York. I've been there during attacks. I know how that feels like. I know people get hurt. I know there are a lot of damage and devastation, but I understand why they didn't want to convey that.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of things like 9/11 and stuff like that. We want that escape.
Yeah.
We want to believe that the heroes can save everybody. That's the reality of that.
And the thing that people need to remember is, depending on the hero, write the movie for that hero. If you have something that is like a Deadpool movie, yeah, I don't want to see a PG-13 Deadpool movie.
No, not at all.
Deadpool movie should stay rated R because that's the kind of character that Deadpool is.
But
If
some
they
of you
do
want
a-
it to be NC-17, if
No.
not X type, with the gore and the sex and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
not good. They will never sink money into that at all.
And there's other places you can go to get that.
Yeah,
I mean, Amazon did The Boys.
yeah.
That comic is heavily not okay for kids, and I think they even edited the TV.
And
show
I'm
back with it.
worried now that they've done The Boys and the success of that. What other indie stuff that you and I have both read
Yeah.
that they could animate or make into a show? Cross that. I'm still trying to mentally forget that series. That was just awful. That was like, what if Walking Dead meant Deliverance? And
Yeah.
I'm still not okay with reading that series.
Yeah.
And I fear that with all the edgy stuff that
That
streaming
we're not far
sites,
from it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like the rumor that they're gonna do a Ghost Rider movie with
Keanu?
no,
Oh.
Walking Dead guy.
Oh, Kirkman or the redneck guy. Norman Reedus.
Norman
Why?
Reedus.
I should know him better from Boondock Saints,
Yeah.
which in a few weeks we'll be watching that
Yeah,
for
we'll be
St.
watching that for
Patty's.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
With Norman Reedus is apparently gonna be in line to play in the next Ghost Rider movie,
Which
which
maybe work out. I mean,
he does a lot of bike stuff. So, and he had, in Walking Dead, he always had a bike. with
and
his
he
character.
has that badass attitude that he can pull off.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, I know Nick Cage fans are gonna ding me.
And his voice is gravelly enough that they don't have to do much for the Ghost Rider
Yeah.
voice there.
But I know Nick fan, you're trying to stop it, but I have to say it. Nick Cage gets on my nerves.
No, I
He's
wasn't
not
trying
a
to stop it.
bad actor per se. Well, yeah, he really is. He's just not Marvel hero material for me. He was funny in Spider-Verse. I liked him
Yeah.
as Spider-Noir.
Yeah.
I think him playing campy can work at times. I just didn't understand him as Johnny at all.
No, and he was good in Kick-Ass as
As the dad,
the
yeah.
girl's dad.
Yeah.
He was good in that role as well. I didn't think he was gonna be. I was really nervous about
Yeah.
him playing the dad, but
Because we've come from the bees, and
Right.
it's like, would you somebody give that man a pat on the head and stop putting him in front of a camera?
right.
Because I can't.
I think he's just got certain roles that he wants to play,
He's so over the
and
top.
he has other roles that he has actually meant to play.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I just don't want him as Ghost Rider. I did not particularly enjoy that movie. I know some fans really do, and they get very passionate when you say it, but
I
it
didn't-
wasn't for me.
I didn't mind it, but I'm not a big Ghost Rider fan either.
I
So,
am.
like,
I have the
as-
comics.
As a person that I know of Ghost Rider and I know what his powers and abilities are, it didn't trigger me as it would other people. But if you're a Ghost Rider fan and that's your main source, I'm sure that movie ticked people off.
It really irked me, but it's kind of like Marvel has been hit and miss for so long for me, because there was so many adaptations of him and the Punisher, and old Punisher sucked. New Punisher, and it kills me because new Punisher is Shane,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stand Shane in Walking Dead, but I love him as
Yeah,
the
he
Punisher.
does a very good Punisher.
Yeah.
I was kind of upset they didn't do more with Thomas Jane, honestly, because I
Yeah.
thought he played a good
I
Punisher
think he
as
did
well.
a good job as
That-
well.
And then the weird thing is the second series they did with I don't even know what that guy's name was.
John Berto, I think.
Yeah, I never watched the as a Punisher Warzone.
Yeah.
I never watched that, and everybody loved it, and it was just like, oh, it was such a good Punisher movie, and I was like, the other one was good too.
Yeah.
I like the other one. I found the other one was a little bit more believable.
And I want to see Daredevil from the Netflix series on the big screen because, I'm sorry, Ben Affleck irked me as Daredevil. It wasn't a good fit at all.
As far
And
as,
I liked him as Batman, so things
Yeah.
don't make sense. This simulation is irking me, y'all.
as far as old '90s superhero movies, Daredevil wasn't that bad.
It irked the frick out of me.
But yeah, I would rather see the one from the Netflix series too because he played it, I think, a lot better.
I think he plays, and that's the thing I
plays
think was
both
missing
characters
from the 90s a lot, depending on who it was. Because Michael Keaton's excluded from this because he made Batman for
yeah.
us back then.
Yeah.
But a lot of the 90s and early 2000s movies was trying to play up one side more than the other, and they really didn't have an actor that got the duality of I'm a superhero like this, but in my actual alias, I have to be this way.
Right.
And now we have a lot of actors that can do that.
They're doing both really well.
Yeah, we have somebody who can play both Wade Wilson and Deadpool, who understands the nuances of both. We have somebody who can play both Bruce and Batman.
Yeah.
We had somebody who made the Vulture cool. Once again, I'm stand for Michael Keaton, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Michael Keaton, for that.
You really did.
That was a little bit of awesomeness I was not expecting.
Exactly. And then we have so many Spider-Men to choose from, but my favorite is Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Tom Holland is my favorite, and Zendaya is my favorite MJ.
Yeah.
Take that, I don't care.
Yeah.
She really is.
I love the
her.
fact that they took MJ's character and made it to be
more relatable and less about her looks.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, here's a character that's off to the side while we focus on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No, you can focus on both of them.
Yeah,
now.
and she stopped being the trophy. That was the problem as a comic nerd growing up. Women in comics, and a lot of people, Gail Simone and I have said it on Twitter, there's a lot of tropes in comic books regarding women just being there for the guys.
Yeah.
Being the prize that they seek, being that unattainable beauty that they keep chasing and might not get. And MJ, the original Mary Jane, was that. She was Peter's trophy. And especially after losing Gwen, who I still feel was Peter's best match. Which is why I love Into the Spider-Verse, having her alternate be a Spider-Person herself, is the fact that Mary Jane, for me, came across as just there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he finally got her, and they get married and stuff, but it's like, he could have done better.
Well, see, that's why I liked, there was a comic series out there that was, I think it was called Renew Your Vows.
Yeah.
And they had a contraption that actually let her mirror his powers. Somebody did it up so that they could copy Spider-Man's abilities, and he adapted it so that she could actually do the same thing, and then they had their daughter, and they would actually go around as a family and do stuff like that together.
And even then, though, I just feel like writers for women in comics still need work. Yeah. But having Peter's girlfriend be smart on her own, have her own agency, is a breath of fresh air.
I just like the fact that they actually brought her out of the sidelines, worrying about, oh, what's going to happen to Peter? It was like, and then actually, no, she's out there helping.
Yeah, she's out there fighting. As a human, we're going to defend our men. And vice versa. And I like having...
Mess with me, she will kill you.
I just think that
I will psychologically torture you into some sort of weird condition.
And I will physically pummel you into...
She will physically beat you.
Yeah. I just think that, for me, the whole idea of Tom Holland and Zendaya, they bring magic into those characters.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to... hopefully getting to see the movie soon.
As soon as we're able to stream it, I already pre-ordered it off of Vudu, so as soon as it's available to watch, we will watch and we will do a review of it.
Yeah.
We will not do one that is going to give too many spoilers for those of us that still haven't seen it, so we might wait like a
little
week
bit
or
more
two before we do it, so that gives everybody a chance that wants to see it or hasn't gone out and seen it to actually watch it.
Like we just did with Ghostbusters.
Yeah, with Ghostbusters we give a very bland, we didn't go into any story or anything like that.
Except to say that we really did enjoy it.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it, and the one thing that I said that spoiled for everybody is just they put
a plot that...
They put a Slimer-esque character in, but I was really wanting to see Slimer. Slimer's been in all the movies.
That whole idea, and like I said, I love the actor that they had play the ghost too, so it was nice seeing him get work in a movie that he probably grew up the rest of us loving.
Yeah.
But it was still like...
Yeah, when is this gonna be a thing?
Yeah.
But if you do watch it, wait until the credits are completely over. They did the awesome little... I love the little treats at the end where you get like a little scene toward the beginning of the credits, but then there's an after credits scene.
Yeah, there are some good Easter eggs at the very end.
Definitely, if you're going to the theater to see it, please be careful. But if you're going to the theater, wait until the credits are all the way over. If you rent it or buy it and you want to watch it At home, if you fast forward or whatever, you don't want to just sit through the whole credits, but wait until you get all the way to the end, please.
Yeah, because some great nods at the end.
They're nice little tidbits that I enjoy seeing when movies do that. I loved it in the Marvel movies because it was like, oh, there's an end credit scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't expecting two in Ghostbusters, and I was like,
hey. Exactly.
Ghostbusters.
But I will say once again to bring it up that anybody who is a fan of the lore of Ghostbusters is gonna find big issue, and we'll probably dive into it more like a few weeks from now once we know that we can really nitpick this issue because it bothers me.
Yeah, and it could have just been something we missed, but like for both of us to miss it while watching it, I don't think they addressed
and then the theory that we put together makes sense behind it, but it still makes a certain person that we both respect character seem ew.
Yeah.
So there's no real way to talk about it right now without giving heavy spoilers.
Yeah, we'll rewatch and then maybe do a breakdown.
But we should warn you that anybody who are Ghostbuster fans are gonna call BS on this.
Yeah.
Like that was the main takeaway both of us had was like
it just seemed very much against the character's nature.
Yeah.
For that, and I just didn't understand it
at all.
But yeah, we're not gonna address it now. We'll address it once everyone's had a chance to actually see it. I think we'll wait until the movie releases. And we'll bring it up because technically I did the movie in theater or theater at home thing, so I actually just bought it instead of renting it.
Exactly.
But I couldn't wait. As soon as that movie was available, I was
because once we seen the trailer for it, I think it was like towards the end of 2020 even. We were like
just before.
Yeah. We were like, we want to see this.
Yeah.
We've been jonesing for a Ghostbuster that ties us to the original.
Yeah.
And it looked like this was going to tie us to the original, even though it didn't show much.
Yeah.
And then the more it built, I was like, I want to see this movie. And I heard so many people that deadpanned it. And I was like, no, I still want to see this movie. And I'm glad we didn't listen to the naysayers because it was really a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this much. As a grandpa's girl, this movie was great for me.
Yeah.
You know, it literally made me tear up at some points because of it. Because there are people who are closer to their grandparents than they would be their parents. And that's a reality for a lot of us.
But yeah, if you guys get the opportunity to see it, definitely see it. It's very, very good. And watch the first one again if you need a little refresher.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of stuff in there that references the first movie, not so much the second.
No, in fact, some of the Easter eggs might make you look at the second movie like,
Right.
Did they just disavow that? Was it not considered canon?
I don't think they disavowed it because they really didn't disavow anything that happened previously because technically the third game, or the game that came out for Xbox and PlayStation, is technically supposed to be the script for the third movie. So this would technically be like the fourth movie, but they didn't really reference anything that happened in there other than the first one.
Yeah.
So it's a rewatch of the first one should be all you really need.
I guess, yeah.
Because like all caught up.
There's just certain things that I can nitpick that they put in.
Yeah.
That it's just like, well, in the second movie, certain things happened that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave it alone because, like I said, I like the movie. I like the historical lore, the kid actors, even the adults were fine. They made you laugh.
Yeah.
You know, and Paul Rudd is golden for me. I like everything he's in so far.
Yeah.
I can't wait for new Ant-Man.
Yeah.
You know? I really do. And we're going to get ready to wrap it up, but I want to get to the thing that we said we were going to do when we were going to do the New Year things, which is our toy and gift corner. Because we're geeks. And, of course, Axiom went all out for both Kiddo and I. We got craft kits for the kid. We got him Legos. We got him his plushies. He got me a plushie
I had to hunt for this.
Ranga! I love slime. I love Ranga. He is my favorite. This stays on my bed. And then we were talking about representation on Twitter. And I told Axiom a story about going to a toy store.
Ranga go right now. It's like, how can I make this transition without putting Ranga down?
When I was little, we would go to toy stores and stuff, and seeing dolls that looked like me was few and far between. I even had a friend innocently say to me, well, why would you want a Barbie doll that looks like you? Because all of us had the same blonde Barbie dolls where I went, and it was annoying. And then we got this, and I teared up because this is what we need. I want more of this, more representation, more Dr. Barbies that look like us. Stuff like this matters. I know it's hard for some people to understand because maybe the world centers the way you look. Maybe you're used to going into a toy store and seeing dolls that look like you. Little girls like me didn't have this, and I love this. I love that I live in a day and age where I can have her and Nubia and Darla from Shazam, which we rewatched that last night too, just to get a laugh. I love Shazam. I'm looking forward to Black Adam.
Yeah.
You know. And then as the slime stuff goes.
Slime stuff goes, since we're both big fans of it, Cal got
me.
She's way.
Soy.
There's more.
Wait, there's more.
I got spoiled this year.
Rimuru.
And we made sure that
Van Presto.
that the figures are all wearing kind of like the same
outfit from when he finally transforms into Demon Leader. And oh gosh, why am I blanking on her name? She's my favorite. Shion.
Yeah. So Cal went out and definitely got me started on a new addiction here, so now I got to get the rest of them.
That time that I got reincarnated as a slime is one of the best isekais that I have watched or read. I'm still reading the manga, and it is just a good story. I tip my hat to Fuse. He literally made characters that I care about. There is no character in Slime that I don't enjoy.
Yeah, normally you get that one character in the show where you're just, and I still have that one character
that
I just
he
absolutely
cannot
hate.
stand that character, but I like him.
But there was really no character in there that
doesn't feel like they belong.
Doesn't feel organic. Did not get a really well written backstory. It is not just a disposable character that well, we could pop this character out and the show would still go on.
Yeah.
It's like, not with this. This show, the creator, Fuse, has really thought out and given everything such a really good backstory and how everything ties together.
Yeah.
That
and he adds supplemental stories because he has the main series, and then he has these supplemental series that I've been reading, like the Slime Diaries, and now he has these other Beaskateer type ones too, and they all like tie in, but don't oversaturate the main story, and it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm really loving this series. I don't like staying in series hard because you're often disappointed. I just feel like with this series, I'm gonna like it from beginning to end, and it's very rare for me to be like that now. I'm the typical nerd. I'm a nitpick normally, but I really love that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah.
In every format so far too, you know. And it's just sad that this pandemic has made it where getting new seasons of that is probably going to be a while.
Yeah, it slows everything down when you got
does.
stuff that can't move the way that it used to because
the world is just not the way it
and I hate
needs
to say
be.
that it's not like, you know, the virus is bad. The virus is bad, but it's not like it itself is causing a lot of the stuff to stop. It's people aren't doing the stuff that they need to be doing to protect themselves, which is go get vaccinated, wear your mask, social distance, and don't gather if you don't have to. And it's just like people are just like, well, I can't be bothered. I'm tired of doing this. I want to get back to normal. I was like, then we're going to be in this a little bit longer.
Yeah.
As long as everybody keeps that narrative up as like, well, we got to get back to normal. It's like, yeah, we got to, but you have to do the little bit of stuff that you don't want to do to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if you're going into a public place, how much does it cost you to take and go, I got a mask on?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do. When you get done, you take it off.
Mm-hmm.
You're done. You just help protect people by doing the minimalist amount of work.
Exactly.
It's not that difficult.
And I'm telling you this, as a bunch of introverts, it's team indoors, we're saying we're starting to feel the brunt of this.
Yeah.
Because we just, even the limited things we used to do for our geekery, like going to a bookstore. I miss going into a bookstore.
Yeah.
I hate that we can't go in and physically buy our manga and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Because
like
it's just too risky.
A lot of times just going in and walking around a bookstore, that's what we used to do. We used to like, hey, let's go to the bookstore. We'd get out, we go to Barnes & Noble, and just walk around and look. You have authors that you don't know about that you could find. You have, You can see if your author that you follow religiously is putting out a new book that you somehow missed.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of books, because I forgot about this, and this reminded me, that Am I the Asshole post, where that husband
yeah, I forgot about that.
threw out his wife's books because he thought that her reading was a bad thing and they should do outdoor hobbies. Any partner of yours that disrespects your hobbies because it's taking too much of their time away, that's a red flag. You don't need to be in that relationship.
Somebody throws out your books, you throw them out because you do not need that kind of negativity in your life.
At all. Like, she was saying how a lot of those books were hard to find. She scoured libraries. She got deals. Some of them were first editions. And to have your partner disrespect that because they didn't understand why you like reading so much. Reading is a form of relaxation for a lot of us. And to be honest, it could be a form of escape when the realities of your situation is bothersome. Being able to be lost in a story is something that I can't describe better than it helps. It's healing for us.
It's a way to relax your mind. It's a way to take and basically enter another world just to live in it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And like I told Cal, I was like, I haven't read a book since this pandemic started. Since 2020 started, I could not mentally make myself disconnect to actually let go so that I could focus on the story that I was reading. I'd be sitting there reading and I'd be like, well, this isn't good because of COVID. And I just could not stop myself from I couldn't exist outside of this little box that I had put myself in.
Yeah.
Now, recently, I went out and I bought myself a little e-reader from Barnes & Noble, just a little Nook Glow Light 4. Phenomenal device. All it does is read books. That's all I needed it to do. I've actually read half a book in the last couple of weeks. I've been able to sit down at night. We're watching TV. I grab that. I start reading. I can actually enjoy a story now because I am starting to decompress a little bit from it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to get back to that situation where like I can't enjoy a story because I can't mentally disconnect from the stressful situation that we're in.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can't imagine as his partner saying, oh no, you gotta watch TV with me. I'm gonna throw your Nook out or I'm gonna throw your book. The thought of hurting a book, no, I'm not okay.
Yeah. When she said that at first we thought he sold them or
Yeah.
gave them away. But then she said that no, he threw them away.
And I had people in my mention saying they cried from that because we've been with people that evil.
Yeah.
We've dated people that, pretty much were jealous of our hobbies. And that's not a good thing.
It's a cold, petty, childish thing to do.
It really is.
Because somebody enjoys something and you don't understand how they can enjoy it and it's taking away from your time with that person. That is petty. Talk to the person. Be like, hey, I really wish we could spend some more time together. Work something out. Don't go out and take something that means something to somebody else and just throw it out.
And that goes to those partners out there because it's not just a woman thing, but it's heavily my gender that does it. If your husband or your girlfriend likes video games, I get it. Being in the video games, sometimes we lose ourselves for hours. You can gently remind your partner that I need some time with you. You do not have to throw out their video games. You do not have to take it to nuclear levels. Some of you really disrespect your partner's hobbies without understanding maybe they're stressed out from work. Mm-hmm. Maybe life has them stressed out, and this is the one thing they have that can give them a sense of relaxation and peace. And I know that doesn't seem fair to you mentally that, oh, they're going to this instead of coming to me, but maybe you need to work on that too.
Or maybe they just need something that helps them relax. It's not that you are not providing them the support that they need. Maybe this is just something that is like, hey, you know what? I really feel like doing this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And pick up a controller. Play with them.
Yeah.
Try their game too. If that doesn't work, find something else that you can enjoy.
And talk to each other. Because I can understand the argument of wanting attention. I'm more like a cat, though. Because I'm like, pet me for a little bit and then go away. Exactly. But for some people, they really do.
Just got up and walked out.
Yeah. Some people, they just... You're a mess. They just do want constant attention from their partners, and when you're dating a geek or a gamer, you have to realize you're going to share them with their anime, you're going to share them with their reading, you're going to share them with their video games, and if that's not for you, you just need to figure that out before you get serious.
Cal likes this one story. What is it? Is it My Senpai is Annoying the
Yes,
Office Worker?
I love it.
She loves watching the show. I have never watched the show. I decided one day, I usually just, okay, she's been doing that, I'll go play video games or something. But one day I was comfortable. I was like, you know what? I'll sit down and I'll watch an episode with her.
Yeah.
I was like, it was subtitled. It wasn't dubbed, which is I usually watch my anime dubbed. Doesn't mean I won't watch it subtitled, but I prefer to be able to focus and not like. Sometimes,
he doesn't like to have to read.
Sometimes
and watch,
I will do other things while I'm watching an anime that I've watched before, and if I'm watching it dubbed, I know what's going on because I've seen it, so I can read while I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
So, but in this case, it's subtitled, so I'm just sitting there watching it with her. The show's phenomenal. Yeah. It's an office story show, and it is cute as heck. It is funny, and it's just like, hey, something she enjoyed, now I enjoy watching.
Exactly.
Take time out and try to work with it before you just go, hey, you know what? I need to destroy that because it's taken away from my time.
Exactly. It's how we really got into, like, Xbox games.
Yeah.
Because I was straight up PC games only before Axiom and I started really dating. And then he was like, no, just try it. And there's certain games still that, like, I can't play games where I have to fly things. Mm-hmm. I've tried it. I don't like it. But I like the heck out of shooters now.
Yeah.
You know? And it just took me trying and seeing what I like and what I don't like. And we don't press each other on that either. If we both like something, good. If we don't, we still got individual things. That's the part of being a geeky couple. You have to work together.
Yeah, she plays her game every Sunday with her...
my friends,
with her
my
friends
guild,
in her group, and she does that. I tried the game. Not my cup of tea. I do need to retry it again because I need to see if
it's changed a lot.
Was it just not my cup of tea at the time? Because it is the line of books that I read. It is in that line of stuff, so I should, in theory, like it. But sometimes if you don't like it the first time you try something, try it again at a later date. Maybe you're just not in the right headspace for it.
Or maybe the characters you made.
This book here. I love Brandon Sanderson. I love everything he's written. I hated this book when I read it. I was like, this book doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand the magic system, and I don't understand anything like that. I waited probably a year or two, I think, and I said, you know what? It's really weird that is the one book I don't care for. Let me try to reread it. Don't know what it was at the time. Absolutely loved the story. I don't know if it was just I didn't have the right brain place for it. I was busy with work and other stuff, so other stuff got in the way of it. Phenomenal story.
Yeah.
I was like, sometimes you're just not hitting the thing at the right time, and you need to just take a step back and come at it again later.
Exactly. And now that my game does hardcore events every few months where it's permadeath if you die with your characters, it's bringing a lot of old players and even newer players into the system because for some reason it's interesting. I don't like dying though, y'all. It broke me losing my high level warlock to a freaking lag death. But it's fun because it tests your abilities to stay alive. I like my survival odds.
I think it makes it more realistic that way.
Yeah.
It makes it take something that was just like, oh, I died, I'll have to reboot and try it again. It's like, no, you're dead. You got to start all the way over again.
Yeah.
And
I'm watching like Strim Tom and a lot of DDO players like Voodoo and stuff take on hardcore, and it's been fun watching them because they've been very realistic about it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm fully enjoying geeking out.
I'm just seeing who's on because I know we're getting ready to wrap up here.
Yep, it looks like Wolfie's doing Super Mario too. I wonder if he's still doing his charity stream.
I don't know. I'll have to check the main channel.
Yeah. Wolfie is a really nice guy, y'all, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get Cat. I love watching his cat show up.
No, it looks like he's just playing viewer levels.
Viewer levels. Okay.
And then Unspoken is doing Zelda, and Strim Tom's doing his...
I'm still Cole Holy Roll. He's on hardcore.
Right. But we are going to get ready to wrap up, everybody.
Yeah. About an hour from now, make dinner and stuff for everybody. But
and then you got your
I'll be live tomorrow doing DDO, and like I said, it's just a chill stream. Me and my friends are joking around. I don't interact with the chat. I'm trying to work on that a bit more, but a lot of times I just want to focus on the dungeon.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, I had to, it was really hard for me at first to focus on the chat and the gameplay. I've hit a nice medium with it now.
Yeah.
But it depends on the game you're playing, and the game she plays, you kind of have to be paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, because it's live action fighting,
Yeah,
you know.
when I was playing the Star Wars game with the fighter on there, I was playing multiplayer. I was like, I couldn't stop to look at the chat. I couldn't pause anything. It's easier on Mario Maker and stuff like that because I can pause what's going on over here. I think then I can come back to it. But it's like it does take a little bit of skill to navigate both at the same time.
Yeah, and I don't have the patience
not easy.
to do it like that. It's gonna be even worse when it's Dragon's Age, because I am gonna live stream Dragon's Age 4 whenever we get that.
Yeah.
They're predicted at some point this year, but I fingers crossed now, because it's been 8 years. I'm salty.
Yeah.
I'm salty. I'm sorry.
You're a little salty there. I'm starting to dehydrate from all the salt.
I know. I just want to play I just want the story to make sense, because I was left. I was jilted by Solus, and I want my revenge. I'm serious. I want my revenge.
Do not cross her. She will go the lengths for revenge.
Team cut a bitch. All right, y'all, though. We're going to get ready to wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oslo, Solomon, Zai, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for our geek chat. And we will see you soon. We're going to raid Wolfie.
Yeah, we're going to raid Wolfie.
He's playing Super
Mario Maker, so...
Doing viewer levels, too, so if you got them levels, put them in.
And we'll see you guys later. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Yep.